that played with Kόμπι or anyone that had the chance to meet him. Do you remember where you were during the tragic news?
Yeah, I was in Venice. I was playing on Venice, Rare Venice team. I had just finished practice. I was at the house, and one of my teammates actually called me, Julian Stone, and broke the news to me. I thought he was joking when he first told me, but as soon as I got on social media, I saw that it clearly wasn't a joke. So.
What was the first thing that comes to mind hearing the name Kόμπι?
First thing that comes to mind hearing the name Kόμπι for me is when I was a kid. The Kόμπι, my favorite Kόμπι was Kόμπι with the afro. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear Kόμπι.
You played with him in the Lakers team for the 2011-12 season. How was like sharing the court and the locker room with him?
On the court, he's very, very determined, very focused, very serious. There wasn't a lot of joking around. When he got on the court, I mean, he was like a vicious animal or something. But then when we got in the locker room, he was more quiet. He didn't really say too much. Kind of stuck to himself. But whenever he needed to be a leader, whenever he needed to say something in the locker room, he definitely didn't hesitate. And everybody was just kind of nervous around him. You know, like everybody kind of just wanted to see what he was doing and kind of feed off of that.
It seemed like you had more than a usual bond after that Mini Mamba nickname. Am I right? How did that come up after that Charlotte game?
Yeah, you know, in practice, he had seen me, perform a few times, and even in practicing things, I kind of went at him a little bit. So I just felt like maybe, he thought that, I had a little bit of the Mamba mentality DNA in there somewhere. He said it after our game. I think we played against the Charlotte Bobcats or something like that at the time. And Luke Walton and Matt Barnes were actually the ones who came up with the name. And he was like, yeah, that's a great name. Like, he was like, I think that fits well. And so, yeah, we ran with it. But, yeah, I definitely appreciated him stamping me that. People still call me that. I never thought that that'd be something that, I had under my belt, but here we are.
Is it true that he wanted to destroy you in practice when he realized that there was no double team on him?
Yeah, I was talking trash one day. Probably wasn't a great idea, but I was talking a little bit of trash, and he got like really mad. Like I was joking, but he got really mad, and he was telling Mike Brown like, okay, today, Gáuldlok thinks he can stop me and this, that, and the third. So he was like, today we're not sending any double teams. Like he's gonna play me one-on-one in practice because obviously every practice we had to double team him. I mean that's the game coverages that he was getting. So, but that practice, yeah, we went one-on-one. He definitely got the best of me, but I put up a fight.
There was also a day in practice when he tried to outplay you with his left arm or hand. Is that true?
Yeah, it wasn't me, but yeah, I mean, it was everybody. He messed up his right wrist, and he definitely wasn't supposed to practice. The coaches and the staff and the medical training staff was trying to get him to relax and, take the day off, and he wasn't having it. And he ended up coming out there with his whole right hand completely taped up, did all the same moves with his left hand, fadeaways, threes, dunks, everything with his left hand. I was pretty amazed for sure.
Do you recall any specific advice from him?
Yeah, man, he always just told me to stay focused. Whenever I wasn't focused, in the game or even at practice, he would get pretty mad, yell at me and stuff like that. So I think my biggest thing, I think everybody should as a basketball player, but as long as your mind is really focused on what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, I mean, you can get it done. I think that's part of the mentality that I was talking about.
Any lesson you kept from his leadership?
What?
Any lesson you kept from his leadership?
Yeah, I think one of the most simple things, one game, we were going through a little losing streak, and one day he told the team, everybody just needs to continue to get better at your job. Just continue to be better at your job, and it makes the team better. And at the time, I kind of thought, maybe he'd been an asshole, but when I started to think about the statement, I mean, it's a very simple, but it's very true statement about how to approach the game. Like, don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about the coaches. Don't worry about anything that you can't control. Worry about yourself and worry about getting better yourself, and the team improves.
There are legends about his work ethic, his confidence. What was the famous Mamba mentality from inside?
When I got there, he was a bit older. So I can't speak to some of the stories and some of the things that people had seen before I got there. All I can say is that I know that the coaches, when he would do things that I thought were extraordinary, the coaches would be like, you haven't seen anything. If you would have saw him 5 years ago, he would have 360 windmill or something like that. So I know it was something that was out of the ordinary, but I wasn't around at that time to actually see it.
There are stories about his pressure to everybody to meet his standards, teammates getting elbowed, trash talking. Did that competitive spirit ever go beyond any limit or something?
Not with me, but I've heard a lot of stories. When I got there, I mean, he talked to me about, him and Shaq and, him and some of the other guys that came through, the Kwame Browns and the Smush Parkers and things like that. So, he was definitely competitive with a lot of guys in the past. I think that, again, by the time that I got to him and I got a chance to play with him, he was a little older and he was a little bit more, compassionate. He wasn't really, going crazy on people. So, but I did hear a lot about, some of the stories of the past for sure.
Is Kόμπι Bryant more of a clutch guy, the hard worker, the guy that knocked off 2 free throws with a torn Achilles, or the guy that didn't flinch in front of Matt Barnes? Or is all of them?
All of them, all of those for sure. I think that's all of those things make the Mamba mentality, and it makes who he was and why so many people look at him as a hero and look at him as Kόμπι Bryant.
The stories about him tend to be, pretty extraordinary. Can you please share the Las Vegas Strip story?
The Las Vegas Strip story.
I read that he took all the team to Las Vegas as a gift or something like that.
No, we had, I don't know about the Las Vegas Strip story. I know that we all had preseason in Vegas.
Okay.
And he rented out the floor of the MGM Grand, and we had drinks and we had fun and stuff like that. But yeah, that's about all I know.
How was he off court?
Off court, he was pretty. He's a pretty cool guy. Depends on, first of all, if we're winning or not. But it just kind of depended on his mood. If he was in a good mood, if we were winning and things like that, he's a pretty cool guy. Very generous. Would give you anything that he had. But he was also stayed pretty quiet. Stayed to himself. He didn't have too much to say. So I don't think that personal relationships were his favorite thing.
Jared Dudley told a few years ago that nobody wanted to play with Kόμπι. Your thoughts about that?
That's his opinion. I know at one point when I was a kid, a lot of people were saying those things because, Kόμπι, they thought maybe Kόμπι shot the ball too much and yada, yada, yada. But for me, I think that he busted through all of those things. I think towards the end of his career, people wanted to play with Kόμπι for sure. I think there's a lot of pressure associated with playing with him. So if you were willing to come there and be a part of that, you just needed to know that for sure.
After retiring, I think that the so-called beast on court became more outspoken, more extrovert. Do you agree? Do you have the chance to meet him after he stopped playing?
No. So the last time that I saw him was on his farewell tour, 2 games before his final game. But even then, when I talked to him and we met up and everything like that and talked before the game, I could tell that his spirit was just kind of free. He was just, even the way he was playing basketball, it was just free. He was happy. He didn't have any pressure on himself. he was just smiling. He was just happy. It was the most that I had seen him smile, and since I had seen him,
right?
Yeah. And then all the pictures that I saw with him with his daughter, and starting to train the Lady Mambas and things like that, he looked like he was stepping into a new world of something that he really enjoyed. So I was telling people, I was like, man, he looks like a completely different person, before he died. So definitely sad for him to die when he had, just kind of developed that new love.
People said that Kobe was the closest to Michael Jordan. Is there any new Kobe in the NBA right now?
No way.
Not even close?
No way. No, none of the young guys have the mentality of Kobe or Jordan. LeBron is LeBron, but those guys don't have those guys are their own people. Nobody in the league is close to those guys right now. And the league is very talented, but nobody comes close.
Is there any hard truth about Kobe Bryant?
About what?
About his mentality, his career, his legacy?
Yeah, the hard truth is he put in the work, and the work showed. And, he was a hell of a player, a hell of a competitor. He inspired a lot of people, sacrificed a lot to be where he was at. From his family, from being in the gym, from missing time all those years. And the guy he was a warrior for sure.